Everybody, this is Gerald Ruiz, functional nutrition consultant here at the Natural Health Improvement Center of Idaho. The topic today is sugar alternatives, okay, or sugar substitutes. Now, oftentimes many of our patients or even you are hearing about the dangers of sugar, how we're now turning more to a paleo or primal, or even possibly further more extreme, a ketogenic diet where we're trying to really decrease our carbohydrate sugar intake as much as possible. Now, with that has come a complete boom to an industry of all of these ketogenic, low-calorie, sugar-free products. And it's been around for a while. And over these decades, the actual sugar substitutes have started to evolve and they've been changing, and people have become much more aware about the dangers of certain ones, more specifically some of the older ones that more people are more aware of, especially now there's more research, more individuals are talking about the dangers of them. And I'm going to show you on screen that I actually saw a documentary a long time ago and got exposed to this particular documentary. This documentary is called Sweet Misery, right? A Poison World. So I highly recommend that you watch this. This actually came out in 2004, and it actually was the first documentary that opened my eyes to aspartame. And when you go online and conduct some research on aspartame, and you probably heard about it and how aspartame can convert to formaldehyde. So aspartame, when it actually gets absorbed, so digestion releases methanol. Now, methanol is actually a toxin to the body. You can even see here that methanol, it states here, the metabolites can be harmful at high doses, hence prolonged aspartame consumption may be a risk factor. Okay, metabolism of these products of aspartame are believed to be more toxic than the original substance itself. Methanol is firstly oxidized in the liver to formaldehyde. And in my seminar called Purification Solutions for Polluted World, formaldehyde is a known neurotoxin. It can affect memory, learning, behavior. It's also cytotoxic to lymphocytes, and it's a known carcinogen, and it's being linked to increasing the risk of leukemia. So if you understand the International Research and Agency of Cancer, which is also abbreviated as the IARC, they look at known substances, chemicals, some viruses, and they determine, okay, is this a known carcinogen to animals, to humans? Is it a probable possible carcinogen? And here, when you look at the IARC monograph for formaldehyde, it says in their evaluation that there is sufficient evidence in humans for the carcinogenicity of formaldehyde. Formaldehyde causes cancer of the nasopharynx, leukemia, and there's a positive association, positive meaning like there is a direct correlation, like there is a known thing, not a good association, right? It's a positive, like there is a known link, has been observed between exposure to formaldehyde and sinonasal cancer. So formaldehyde is a known carcinogen to humans. It's a group 1 carcinogen. And when I did this research and I started looking at sugar substitutes, I started realizing that many individuals who are looking for sweet foods and looking for sugar alternatives, we have to look at each of the various sugar alternatives in much more detail. Now, there's a lot of newer players to the market. So many of us know about the alcohol sugars, maltitol, xylitol, erythritol. And so anything that ends in OL is starting to give you clues that that's an alcohol sugar. I know long ago when I was a pharmaceutical sales rep and I would be able to purchase all sorts of snacks to be able to provide to these offices that I went to gain favor with them and with the clients, I would purchase low-calorie peanut brittle that was actually sweetened with maltitol syrup. Okay, now maltitol is another form of a sugar substitute. Oftentimes you're going to find it in foods that are packaged or prepared for diabetics because it's a low-calorie food, since it's not going to spike glucose levels within the bloodstream, thus leading to an insulin spike or the need for insulin in the bloodstream. So one of the side effects, which I would actually observe in individuals who consume too much of this peanut brittle with maltitol sugar or syrup in too high of a dose, eventually if they consume too much of it, they could actually develop symptoms of diarrhea. And so we know that these alcohol sugars also have disruptions to the bowel. Okay, some patients will start getting bloated, some patients may have discomfort and cause loose stools. Obviously, a lot of it has to do with the quantity that's actually consumed. And this can be said for xylitol, it can be said for erythritol. Again, these alcohol sugars are alcohols, and the body will or have organisms on the inside. So we have these probiotics or these bacteria in our digestive systems, and they're going to start to metabolize these alcohol sugars, creating some discomfort. So that is something to be aware of. In addition, I'm starting to see a lot more people are more aware about aspartame and how it's dangerous, and are looking to change towards other sugar alternatives. And we're starting to see an uptick in stevia. Now, stevia, if you've had the plant, one of my close friends actually grew a stevia plant and gave me a leaf, and you can chew it and you can taste the actual sweetness from it. And that right there has no problem physiologically for people. However, what's happening is a lot of these manufacturers are taking the stevia plants and they're highly refining it to the white crystalline substance that is known to give it its sweetness. Okay, and sometimes you may even see it in a liquid, in a drop, and so it's actually invisible within an aqueous solution. But we're finding that in our clinic, as people use stevia as their number one sweetener, we're starting to see it accumulate within the body. That actual nutrient or phytonutrient, I don't even know if call it phytonutrient, but whatever it is that causes sweetness is starting to accumulate in people's bodies. And keep in mind, sugar, when now, obviously, we understand sugar is bad and it has its detrimental effects on blood sugar regulation. But when we do consume sugar naturally in certain fruits or even carbohydrates, where it gets eventually converted to sugars, we can burn it for energy. Okay, the phytonutrient that's within stevia that's getting highly concentrated, being added to whatever baked goods or whatever food someone is consuming, and it's being used as a sweetener, will accumulate in the body because it cannot be burned for energy. And I'm starting to see that individuals start having challenges with their liver or their gallbladder or their kidneys or the detox organs that are responsible for eliminating it from the bloodstream. So you have to be cautious about these substances, not getting too much that's going to overwhelm your liver. Furthermore, I'm also starting to see this happen with the extract of monk fruit. Now, I'm for eating fruits as a whole food, but when you take the monk fruit, and a lot of individuals will go to a store and buy a big bag of monk fruit extract, right? So it's the same concept as stevia. If you eat the whole fruit, it's going to be sweet. And research shows that monk fruit extract does not elevate blood glucose, thus not leading to an elevation in insulin. That's fine for maintaining blood sugar. However, we can't burn the monk fruit extract. While it's sweet on our taste receptors, if we swallow it, then the body has to eliminate it somehow because it can't metabolize it, can't use it. So again, I'm starting to see also these accumulations of the monk fruit extract become problematic within patients. And there's another also side effect that I see. I have some patients that are completely ketogenic, but they're consuming these processed foods that are sweetened with monk fruit or xylitol or any type of sugar substitute. Sometimes I'll see people who are consuming an electrolyte powder and they're mixing water, and it's a low calorie, all right, 0 calorie, low calorie. That's a key hint to looking to see, are they using a sugar substitute? And you want to make sure that this sugar substitute is going to be easily eliminated by your liver if you absorb it into your body, or it can be metabolized or used for energy. And if not, then it can potentially accumulate in your body and lead to challenges in your liver or your gallbladder. Now, there are many symptoms that can manifest, but that's going to be another conversation as to how do you know if you have symptoms due to liver sluggishness or gallbladder stasis. Obviously, there's going to be skin issues, perhaps, maybe some digestive issues, some bloating, some headaches. And these are just some examples of what some individuals may experience. Just the other day, I had a patient who actually consumed a food that had the monk fruit extract, and they felt nauseous. Food itself seemed harmless, but upon evaluation, their liver was having challenges eliminate this additional intake of this sugar substitute. So we can call them artificial sweeteners, we can call them sugar substitutes, we can call them extracts or isolated extracts of a particular food. But always remember to just be aware of what you're putting in your body and watch out the quantity, and make sure that your liver and your kidneys and your gallbladder can eliminate these when they accumulate in the body appropriately. Now, personally, for sweeteners that I have at home, obviously I'm going to be using raw honey, maybe sometimes some maple syrup. And then if you are going to be using certain sugars as substitutes or sugars instead of white refined sugar, you're going to be looking for the unrefined sugars. The societies that Weston A. Price studied who had absolutely perfect health, some of these societies actually consumed sugar cane. They consumed the sugar cane juice and had no problems. They didn't even develop cavities when they had all the sugar with the other nutrients that you can find in sugar cane juice. So if you ever do consume sugar, the best format is to have sugar cane juice, cold press, freshly squeezed. And I'll show you one day. I actually have a photo of me in Taiwan when I lived there, visiting the night markets, and they have a nice cold press machine that actually would press the sugarcane stalk into a juice. And it was green in color. It wasn't white. And I would drink that on occasion, knowing the nutritional benefits of the other nutrients that were packaged with the sugar. Now, obviously, am I going to be drinking that all day, every day? No, but when I'm there, traveling, it's available. It's amazing to have that. Of course, if you can find that where you are locally, sugarcane, feel free to go at it. Some people can try to chew it. You can only chew for so long, and it will limit how much sugar you will take into your bodies anyway. But today's topic is all about sugar substitutes, artificial sugars. Obviously, you're going to stay away from those as much as possible, and then start to move towards a raw honey. And there are many local beekeepers in your area. Try to find someone you can source it, get it nice and raw and unfiltered, ideally, or even unpasteurized. Sometimes they pasteurize, they expose the honey to high heat elements. That's going to destroy some of the natural benefits that raw honey can help. And still go easy with the raw honey. Okay, too much sugar, too much sweetness can also throw off the blood sugar out of balance. Now, the other side effect or issue that I've seen some people who have had all these ketogenic diets or desserts or snacks that have been sweetened with sugar substitutes, your brain still senses sugar. It thinks sugar is coming when you place it on your tongue. And so it may send a message to your brain, and the brain sends a message to your pancreas to release insulin. Okay. Now, if you have, let's say your glucose is running around between 85, 90, and you then have a sugar substitute and insulin gets secreted, but the glucose levels never went up because you had a sugar substitute, a sugar alternative, then what happens is insulin goes up, and then it's going to take whatever glucose you have in your bloodstream and start to lower it. And I've seen some individuals develop symptoms of hypoglycemia due to the overconsumption of these artificial or sugar substitutes, and thus tricking the brain, and the brain saying, hey, I'm going to release insulin because I think there's sugar coming into the bloodstream. And then these individuals feel exhausted or feel tired. So if you're experiencing this while you're consuming a sugar substitute, you're feeling a little bit more tired than normal, lay off of it and eat nutrient dense foods that can stable your blood sugar, make sure your liver is fully supported, and maybe even try some raw honey instead of these sugar substitutes in high concentrations. So if you suspect that these sugar substitutes are contributing to your health, give us a call. We'd like to help you investigate if it is, and then help you create a design clinical nutrition program to optimize your health. All right, this is Gerald Rollies from the Natural Health Improvement Center. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out anytime.